Welcome back to Live Young Diecast. I'm your host, Chips McGee, and we're kicking off the group rounds of the final series of the Diecast Euro Cup. This is the McLaren and Lotus series, groups 1 and 2. Let's go meet the drivers. Up first is Johnny Walker from Numbskull Racing. He'll be in the Lotus Sport Elise at 70 grams. Lucas is back from EP Videos in the McLaren F1 GTR, weighing in at 53 grams. And Gus BR from Down Squad Racing in the McLaren F1 at 54 grams. Uncle Elvis from Uncle Elvis Racing is here in the McLaren 720S at 69 grams. That's Group 1. Lap 1 will kick off with Uncle Elvis in pole position. Lucas up front with him. We're off. Uncle Elvis and Johnny Walker separating themselves from the pack. And lightning speed from these two. Lucas comes in for third, and Gus comes in for fourth. That's a sub-7 time for Uncle Elvis, who wins lap 1 with Johnny Walker right on his bumper the whole way. A smooth run for these two for first and second. And that's a 6.9711 to Uncle Elvis in the lead after lap 1. All right, heading into lap 2. Lucas slides over into pole position. Gus is up front with him. Down the front stretch, they are tight. Lucas gets passed by Gus. That's a great overtake. And now Lucas returning the favor at the finish line with a 7.3 on the clock. That is one of the best overtakes I've seen on the Deep Eddy Raceway. Look how tight this group is. Gus gets the pass, says bye-bye. Johnny Walker looking for a pass back there, gets blocked out, and Lucas, throttle down, pulls out to the outside here, and just narrowly takes that from Gus. So that's a win for Lucas at the finish line. He bumps up to 7 points in the lead. Johnny with 5, Gus with 4, and Uncle Elvis with 6 points. Just 1 point behind the leader as Gus slides over into pole position for lap 3. Johnny Walker up front. He has shown some speed. He's going to separate himself from the pack in a big way here. Smooth run. Gus back there fighting off Uncle Elvis, who looked for a pass. And at the finish line, Uncle Elvis and Gus are going to look for... They're both going to look for that second place finish. Let's check out the replay. There was a sub-7 time as well. There's Gus blocking out Uncle Elvis. And they kind of match here as they hit the finish line. That is tight. So Johnny Walker taking the win with a sub-7. And that will be Gus for the second place finish. Uncle Elvis for third and Lucas for fourth in our third lap. So Johnny Walker now in the lead with 10. Lucas and Uncle Elvis tied for 8. And Gus 1 point behind with 7. This is looking good. Anyone can take this and advance. We've got Johnny Walker up front with Uncle Elvis. And Johnny, a big lead here. Uncle Elvis whizzing around. Gus, who got squirrely on the Vista. And he will capitalize on that for a second place finish. And Gus unable to get through the finish line. On the replay here, Johnny Walker with the big lead once again. Gus has a chance here for second, but he gets squirrely. Uncle Elvis going around on the outside. A wise move. Will finish with second in the fourth and final lap. Lucas coming in for third. A little bit of separation from the group here as Gus got squirrely on the Vista. And Lucas able to limp through and get some points here. How are we looking? That's going to be Johnny Walker winning the group with 15. Uncle Elvis with 11. And Lucas barely lost that to Uncle Elvis. And Gus will finish with 7. All right, Group 2 is up next. Let's meet these drivers. Arlo is back from Arlo Racing in the McLaren F1 at 60 grams. Sam Hall from DRT3K Racing and the McLaren F1 GTR at 62 grams. Darq from Darq Speed Shop in the McLaren P1, 65 grams. And finally, it's Shaun DeLong from Code 3 Motorsports in the McLaren F1 GTR, 67 grams and a glow-in-the-dark paint job. Here we go, lap 1. Shaun is in pole position. Sam Hall right up front next to him. And they're down the front stretch. Sam Hall and Arlo coming ahead. Arlo from the outside rear to finish with second. Sam Hall with the win. That was an amazing pass from Arlo, showing a lot of speed here from the outside rear lane, who slingshots around behind Sam right on the bumper and passes Shaun to take that second place win. Nicely done from Arlo, and Darq will take fourth behind Shaun DeLong's third place finish in lap 1. Arlo 3, Sam Hall 5, Darq's got 1, and Shaun DeLong with 2. So Sam with an early lead here after the first lap in Group 2. Sam slides over into pole position. Arlo now up front with him. These two with a big show of speed so far. Is that going to continue? Looks like they're pulling away from the group a little bit here. Arlo with the overtake on the Vista. Throttle down for a win. And Sam Hall close behind for second place. And a 7.0428 for Arlo. And we lost Darq in the pool turn. We got squirrely and wasn't able to finish the lap. Shaun DeLong pretty close to the group, and they just pull away here. Shaun with a little drift in the turn, seems to slow down a little bit. And Sam Hall right on the bumper, full contact all the way through the finish line on Arlo. These two will be tied with 8 after the second lap. Arlo and Sam Hall with 8 points. Heading into lap 3. This is looking good for Arlo and Sam. Arlo now in pole position. Darq up front with him. And Darq and Shaun falling behind as Sam and Arlo are just flooring it. That is going to be a sub-7 if I ever saw one, and it will be. Arlo with a 6.8569. None of our sub-7s so far enter the range of track record, which is a 6.7, and these guys are working towards it. I will say that at least. Arlo with a big win and a sub-7 time, 13 points, he's in the lead. Sam with 11, Darq with 3, and Shaun with 5. Mathematically, they are done, and this comes down to ego points as Shaun and Darq go for it up front in the front 2 lanes. Arlo and Sam from behind, definitely pushing as expected. Are we going to see an overtake? That is gorgeous from Arlo. He spins out though. Sam helping him out, dragging him through the finish line. These two finish again in first and second. My goodness. That is a tight finish if I've ever seen one. We're going to go to the replay on the finish cam and take a peek at that. A beautiful overtake from Arlo, a little too much speed and gets squirrely, and Sam gives him a bump, helping him through on the finish. And that is tight. Arlo definitely has a laser beam, and I do see one on Sam Hall. It is very faint with that bronze paint job on the bumper, but we rolled that back a few times, and there is no doubt a laser beam on Sam Hall. We're going to give him a 5-point tie. Regardless, Arlo and Sam Hall move along to the semifinals. We say goodbye to Shaun DeLong and Darq. Thanks for coming, guys. And it will be Arlo, Sam Hall, Uncle Elvis, and Johnny Walker moving on to the semifinals. Well, I've been your host, Chips McGee, and thanks for joining us here on the Deep Eddy Raceway for the final series of the Diecast Euro Cup. We'll see you next week for Groups 3 and 4. And until then, we thank you for watching and hope you remember to live young, Diecast.